Thank you, Nicolas and Nurielle, for your presence with us today. Let me introduce you with your different approach and different experience. You are both artists in visual art. You were raised in Ontario, and today you live and work, you, Nurielle, in Toronto, and you, Nicolas, in Kingston. Nurielle, you create sculptural ceramic objects and immersive installations that often combine ceramics with other materials and also video projection. Your work navigates the dialectics of inside and outside, the tamed and the wilderness. Nicolas, you create large-scale sculptures that create contemporary confrontations with European art historical traditions, and you often work in cast aluminum, resin, and other media. And I precise also you represent by Artmur Gallery. In discovering your approach, I was very interested by your exploration of subject matter derived from the complex and problematic, often mythologized human relationship to the natural world. It's very interesting. Nicolas, you have been awarded the Elizabeth Greenshields Foundation Award, and you, Nurielle, you are the recipient of the National Winifred Chance Award. Together, you received funding from the Ontario Arts Council to realize your Wall Fall project, which includes 5 collaborative works. These were presented as a collaborative exhibition in 2019 at the Canadian Clay and Glass Gallery in Waterloo, Ontario. So each of you has their own individual practice. So I would like to ask, can you tell us about yourselves and your production outside of the context of this collaboration? Maybe Nurielle, you can go ahead.
Thanks, Naomi. So like Nick, I studied sculpture and installation art at OCAD University in Toronto. And then I went on to specialize in ceramics at Sheridan College. And I got a master's degree in ceramic art at Alfred University in New York State. And while I was in graduate school, I began working on large-scale sculpture using ceramics and also sometimes incorporating video projection into large ceramic objects. For instance, like a 5-foot ceramic tree trunk. So right now, I actually have an exhibition at the Gardner Museum in Toronto. It's a large-scale commission that spans all 3 floors of the museum stairwell and also incorporates stained glass in ceramics and porcelain. And I've also been working over the last winter on some large-scale installation work with wood and green-tinted porcelain objects.
Great, interesting.
Yeah, so I studied at OCAD University and graduated there in 2012. In 2016, I was a resident artist at the Florence Trust in London, England for a year. And when I was there, I really became interested in referencing historic objects from past eras in my work and using these objects in a way where I disrupt their historical reference through a simple gesture or manipulating them, or perhaps rendering them with unexpected materials. So one of the works that I created while I was in London is The End of the Chase, which is a rocking horse that's collapsed over its rails. And this is a work that's also included in the Terra Nova exhibition. I'm also really interested in public art. Currently, I'm working on a project for the city of Kingston, and it's in the fabrication stage and will be installed late spring. So hopefully in May, it will be installed.
Great. Specifically, with the current exhibition in Artmur, Terra Nova, looking at the present and the future, you present is remarkably interesting Whirlpool, your collaborative piece. Can you tell us more about it? Tell us about your collaboration and what is your inspiration of this piece?
Yeah, so Whalefall is a totally collaborative piece, and we work together on every aspect of it. It's made out of cast porcelain, and we assembled into into sculptural clusters, and we also used wood furniture that we collected and carved into skeletal forms. So our title for the work, Whalefall, refers to the scientific term for when a whale dies and its carcass sinks to the abyssal plain of the ocean and creates its own ecosystem. So really our intention with the work was to evoke a shipwreck and a whale carcass simultaneously in a moment of arrested decay.
So we have these clusters of partially recognizable porcelain objects that are suspended throughout the structure. And these are doing double duty. So they're alluding to the decaying flesh of a whale with the glazes that are really textured, and also Baroque still life painting. And we use some found blue and white ceramic objects also, and we reglazed them to fuse them with the other ceramic pieces that we made. And thematically, all the objects reference the history of ceramics as it's bound up in the complex and colonial trade routes that continue to shape so much of our contemporary experience. And it also references the environmental degradation and destruction brought on by our very anthropocentric view of the natural world.
Mm-hmm. Right, very interesting. And how did you begin collaborating together, Nurielle and Nicolas?
Yeah, so in 2017, Nurielle and I reached out to each other, and we were just, we arranged a few studio visits just to network and meet other people who are making sculptures and doing things similar to what we were each doing. And so we very quickly realized we had a lot of overlaps in the interest and themes in our work. And so before you knew it, we were writing proposals and trying to work on a project together and experimenting in the studio together.
Right. And so it's very interesting because you mix very clearly your two approach and your practice. So I would like to know, how is your collaboration unique as your idea? What do you think about your specific collaboration?
So I think because we're both sculpture artists, and even though we have different skills and different materials, they're transferable across mediums. So I think our collaboration is pretty unique in that we actually made every artistic decision and every component together, regardless of the medium. And if one of us had more expertise in one way of working, then we taught it to the other person. But we actually have a lot of overlapping skills and interests, so it worked really well.
Great. And you told me about the word mutable. You've used the word mutable to describe your work together. What does that mean, and how does this apply to Whirlpool, your project in the current exhibition at Art Mur?
Yeah, so the word implies something that keeps shifting and is something we really tried to do on several levels with the Whalefall piece. So as a whole, of course, the piece, as we've talked about, it oscillates between being the carcass of a whale and a shipwreck. But then under closer investigation, the ceramics also do this, right? So when you look at them in detail, there's recognizable objects that also, when maybe you stand back, they look a little more like the flesh on the carcass of the whale. And the same goes for the structure that the ceramics are positioned within. So they kind of go between being discarded furniture and bone-like or skeletal.
So the pieces themselves are also placed in a really precarious way. And it's kind of reflected in the way that we wanted to destabilize any one interpretation of the work. And we've done this through adding lots of layers of meaning both thematically and materially in the way everything keeps shifting.
Great. You need to see the installation if you didn't come yet at the gallery, because it's very, very interesting, and it's a huge installation. So my last question for you, can you tell us if you have any current or upcoming projects soon?
Sure, yeah, so we've been working on a large 2-person exhibition for over a year, and it has a collaborative exhibition design component, and we're hoping to be able to show that work soon. And it's an exhibition that revolves around a central theme of ornamental gardens, horticulture, and again, the idea of humankind altering the natural environment.
Yeah, and we're also really excited that in the fall, we'll be representing Whale Fall in its entirety at Queen's University's Union Gallery. So we'll be including the work that's currently at the gallery, the whale installation, alongside the 4 other collaborative artworks that we originally presented at the Canadian Clay and Glass Gallery.
Great, great. Many thanks for that. It was very interesting to have more explanation about your approach and your statements, because probably people can't know you yet. So now it's done. And so many things, and I invite you to see the show at the Art Mur Gallery, the current exhibition Terra Nova, looking at the present and the future, is presented until April 24th. Thank you, Nurielle, and thank you, Nicolas.
Thank you,
so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.